Our ability to succeed in an area of life depends on our willingness and ability to deal with uncomfortable conversations. What's up, folks? My name is Vin, and this is the Venn Diagram, a channel dedicated to the intersection of my life experiences. This is the last video of my series about Steven Bartlett's Diary of a CEO book. If you don't know who he is a businessman, founder of Flight Story, Flight Fund, and something else, and Third Web. And you might have heard of him from his podcast, The Diary of a CEO. Which is where I first heard of him, and then I was like, ooh, I'll read his book, ooh, I'll do this, and now we're here. We're in the last video of this 4-part series, so let's get into it. And before we close the series off, would you be willing to hit that subscribe button? My subscribe count is low compared to my view rate. Really grateful for everybody that has come and joined the channel. Really excited to keep bringing value to you all. This first part is do what it takes. Contrary to what this might sound like, this is not the hustle, deprive yourself of life mentality. Steven wrote about the Japanese practice of Kaizen, which is a practice required of all employees at Toyota, a company you might have heard of. Under Kaizen, you must create a standard, make sure everyone meets that standard, and ask everyone to find ways to improve that standard. At Toyota, supervisors constantly review employee ideas, and they coach these employees on the practicality and give them direction and support to make well-rounded and effective movements towards making that idea possible. Those managers also help that idea succeed if it is good enough meeting those standards. And it's required that each employee contributes one idea per month. Kaizen really represents so many things required of being successful, creating a standard and ensuring that everyone meets that standard, and caring about the tiny details, because the tiny details make for excellent results. Good work is the culmination of hundreds and hundreds of tiny details. All you see right now is me talking at you. It's a talking head video. It's kind of the point. But I also took the time to read this book, pick out my favorite lessons. I crafted a script, I picked a hook and a thumbnail to hopefully get people to watch. I put it through this website called Hemingway, which basically makes sure that my language is simple and accessible. I'm recording it right now, and later on, I'm gonna find assets to the video like B-roll, text, images, animation, and then I'll edit this video for about 5 hours. Whatever else I need that I might have forgotten to do, which happens a lot. Then I'll post and share it. And I want to make sure that each of these steps is done well, because I'm trying to improve my craft at making videos like this and making content like this and bring as much value as I can to whoever happens to be watching. Thanks for watching. And I'm currently trying to figure out how to repurpose my content into LinkedIn posts and templates to diversify my audience as well as bring more value to people. All of these steps are things that I have watched hours and hours of videos on and have studied for the last 1.5 years in the process of starting this channel. Back to Kaizen. If you don't care about the tiny details, you'll produce bad work. And Toyota, arguably the most reliable car while remaining the most affordable car company in the world, obviously has set a standard for the car industry. And so they are living proof that asking people for their thoughts is valuable, and that being willing to improve leads to your longevity as a company, and that a simple belief of encouraging innovation can lead to long-term success. And along the same line is the encouragement to experiment, which is the next section. Steven wrote, you need to do more experiments per week, per month, per year, and per decade. And you cannot invent without experimenting. I'm always trying new habits to improve the amount of joy and productivity in my life. I try new workouts and stretches to push my body in ways that I haven't before. One of the biggest things that I'm attempting right now is I'm actually using, similar to a Japanese tatami mat, a futon that serves as my bed. And I'm still trying to figure out if it's good for me long term, but so far my upper body and chest kind of have naturally spread out a little more, and it's a lot easier for me to stand up straight. I'm still trying to figure out if it's actually good for my lower back, because I actually had like a back injury a couple weeks ago that I'm still trying to like be attuned and like gentle with. I don't think I'll make a video about the futon, but that's just one of the ways that I try random things to see if I like it, and if it's better for me, then I'll keep doing it. Sometimes I do things the opposite that I've always done it, just because, like, what if it comes out in a different way that I hadn't even considered? And you'll never find new solutions if you only approach problems one way. And along that same vein, you cannot gift yourself with new experiences. You don't experiment with life every now and then. So I'm thirsty. Facing discomfort. So at the beginning of the video, I mentioned this quote: "Our ability to succeed in an area of life depends on our willingness and ability to deal with uncomfortable conversations." Are you scared of having that talk with your boss about more compensation? Have you been putting off stepping away from a friendship? Is there something that you need to get off your chest but feel it's too risky? And I'll just tell you this: you deserve to be paid fairly. You deserve to be treated well by your peers. And you deserve to live a life without any regrets. Your personal progression is trapped behind an uncomfortable conversation. That's where it's trapped, just so you know. You cannot reach your highest potential without a better relationship with discomfort, bad news, and inconvenient truths. If you expressed a boundary with a friend, say you wanted to hang out less so that you can work on projects and spend less time socializing, and if that friend reacts poorly, they have an insecurity that requires their needs over yours in this season of life. And that's okay. This isn't a reflection of you being a bad friend. And that's not saying they're a bad friend either. We just all have things come up. Some people will understand that and others will not. Trust me, this is a lesson that I'm still learning. Anytime someone says no to hanging out with me, or anytime I have to say no to hang out with other people. This next section is on failure. A really awesome exercise from this book. Ask yourself, why will this idea fail? This is a question that Steven asks his team when they are pitching ideas for a project. He gathers his team and asks everyone to identify potential risks and weaknesses, criticize the project, not the individual person pitching, and fast forward to failure. They brainstorm reasons for failure and develop contingency plans according to those projections. I saw this as such a game changer for my process and something that I've added to my monthly reviews in my goals. When looking at each goal, I ask myself, why will this idea fail? Or why will I fail at this goal? Let's use YouTube as an example, and since we're all here together and I'm already doing this video. YouTube for me will become a failure when I am outputting content that doesn't make me happy, content that isn't useful for people, and content that isn't fun for me to make. It will also fail when I am only focused on what gets views versus balancing it with things that I really just like making. This is something that, and my other scale is like, would I make this for me, just for me? So now I'm always asking myself, like, why will this idea fail? And this is so important for me because I have burned out on so many jobs in the past, and I don't want that to happen here or in any of the other creative things that I'm doing, like my blog and my podcast. So I want to make sure that this process is sustainable for me. I have a lot of rules around this, and because I am the type of person to go off the deep end and burn myself out, have to create these rules because these rules are boundaries with myself. So some of my rules are, I don't plan content further out than 2 months ahead of time so that it doesn't get overwhelming and I can maintain some flexibility about what I want to make. I also only work on certain tasks on certain days. So for YouTube shorts and my Substack blog posts, I only work on those 1 to 2 times a month so that I kind of batch everything into those 2 days and that I don't have to keep making something up every single week. And when I film videos for YouTube, I try to batch multiple videos into one day and I can spend the rest of the month editing these videos. And by creating these routines, I have rest built into it as well. All of these systems make the admin part of my life easier, and I'm always trying to learn things to make my process more efficient, mainly so I can focus on the stuff that I enjoy the most, which is editing, which I know I actually like editing, filming, and scripting. In conclusion, on doing what it takes, remember Toyota's theory of Kaizen. Create a standard, improve the standard, and innovate it often. Experimentation is crucial in a world that is fastly changing as the world that we live in. So the only constant is change. And thus, the only advantage is to innovate. On facing discomfort and failure. The more you put off facing discomfort, the harder you are making your life. Get good at being uncomfortable. Failure is bound to come to you. Accept that. It matters way more what you learn from failure than the fact that you failed at all. Be prepared as you can, but keep going. So that is the end of this Diary of a CEO series. I hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it today. And if you stick around this long, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next video.